We made quite a commitment to Pacific Rim Uprising. Now, let me preface this by saying I liked the first one. I was excited to see this movie. I thought the trailer really brought it to the next level. And I was like, this is going to be great. It's going to be a lot of robots. It's going to be a lot of monsters. It's going to be a lot of action. I can't wait to see this movie.
We are going to do a spoiler app with Miguel Ferrero. So it will be, we will get into the nitty gritty of it if you want to. So we're going to be broad strokes on this episode. But I think I went into it similarly to you, Chris.
Yes, I was, because like I said, enjoyed the first one. This movie, not good. Not good. And you know what it felt like? What pissed me off the most about it? It felt like back in the 90s, like when there was a successful movie, you would get a sequel. But sometimes those sequels had half the budget and would go straight to DVD. That's what this felt like. This felt like a straight-to-DVD sequel where we're like, well, we're only going to throw half the budget in it. We're not going to really put any stars in it. We're not going to spend the money. We're going to get all B and C level talent from in front of the camera to behind the camera, and we're going to cut the budget. But interestingly, that's not what happened. That's just the result that they got. Like, the budget was still $150 million. And Stephen Estonite, who wrote and directed, has got a lot of TV credits, and, you know, a lot of them in genre. So there was a lot of things that should have gone right that did not in this movie. I mean, the story was ridiculous. And granted, I wasn't looking for something, you know, amazing. Just maybe some delivery to the action. But, you know, it starts off with, like, a girl making her own Jaeger, and, like, she's stealing parts. And I'm like, this looks kind of like a Transformers movie, and not a good one.
And I was like, was the dialogue this shitty in the first one?
Right. Like, it was like everything was subpar, from the writing, the directing, the acting, the action.
How much did the first one cost? Do we know that?
The first one came out in 2013. This will tell you everything you need to know. It was directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
And he helped write the script. So just that's where you're starting from.
Right.
And the budget was $190 million.
Right. Well, I mean, forgive the ignorance,
so
but
technically it went down.
But 150 for a movie like that is maybe not that much. Is that correct? I mean, $40 million less.
It's still enough. Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
sure.
what that to me, that margin is, you know, that's Idris Elba and Guillermo del Toro's fees, you know, because this has John Boyega, who's not A-list yet. He's getting there. No. And then a bunch of people you've never heard of.
Right.
You know what's interesting?
Who did the first one have in it?
It
had Idris Elba in it.
And Charlie Hunnam. And you know what? It's interesting. Like, you don't realize what a good job they did until they're missing from the second film. Right. Like, you're like, oh, wow, I really missed those guys. And then what they did with the returning characters, we'll get more into this in the spoiler, they made me not like them. Like, it was so weird. It's like, so you're not only are you ruining this movie, you're taking everything I liked about the first movie and ruining that as well.
It's like when you want Rocky to lose. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not the
I hope this guy gets knocked out.
Yeah, you start rooting for the kaijus.
Yeah.
But
I got $10 on Drago.
Yeah.
But like, interestingly, like, Guillermo del Toro stepped down as director in order to direct The Shape of Water, which of course went on to win the Academy Award.
Thank God, he said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guillermo, for doing that.
Yeah. And, you know, I was looking for his name in the credits, and I was thinking, okay, well, maybe he wrote the story, but after I saw the movie, I'm like, there's no way he... nope, no writing credit. He had a producing credit, but I have a feeling that producing credit is because he did the first movie, not because he was
he probably owns
hands-on.
That's it.
Yeah. He was not hands-on in this movie, or it would not have came out the way it did.
Look at these three people. Guillermo del Toro, who's an amazing filmmaker, who just won an Oscar for one of the more inventive movies to come out in a while. Idris Elba, an amazing actor.
Yes.
Charlie Hunnam, who like is coming from the TV world. He's starting to get
He's a great mumbler.
He's a great mumbler. He's a good-looking mumbler.
Yeah.
So you took all these really talented people and put them in, like, okay, big blockbuster monster fight thing.
Right.
So it'll have all the monster fight, big budget things that you expect, but it'll be done with a decent script and really good acting and fine directing. This was just like, it was like, this is a Transformer movie.
Yeah. I mean, this,
How did it do monetarily? I mean, is it
which one? The first one?
This one now.
This one now hasn't done that well. It's only done about $20-30 million.
Yeah. Okay, so this might be a loss.
Oh, for sure. Because you know what happened?
Will China? Will go run and see it no matter what? Or
well, yeah, it's a Chinese movie. Like
right,
it's got Chinese funding. We'll get into the spoiler. You know, there's a big Chinese company and a Chinese woman and how she's depicted. I was like, wow, is that the Chinese government?
She's waving a communist flag?
That's just when the Chinese government puts money into a big budget thing like this. How China is depicted is very.
It comes with strings.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. No, I know because they don't allow a certain amount of. They only allow a certain amount of movies to be played there. So
you have to have. So they have to be shot. Part of them has to be shot in China. They have to have a certain number of Chinese actors in them, and script is like gone through the Chinese government. So you watch this and you go, I mean, the first one was so fun. There were some fun action scenes in this.
Right.
There were some fun action scenes.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't a total loss. Like it wasn't unwatchable, but it was. It made it made the first one look like, in terms of endearment.
Yeah.
Well, you got to figure like how many, especially in the actual, how many sequels are better than the original? There's only a few. I mean, it's hard to even think of in any genre where a sequel is better or up to snuff with the first.
That's a fair thing to bring up.
I mean, like people say, "Oh, The Godfather." I go, "Okay, well, do you have anything else?"
Aliens,
and then you really have to think about it.
Aliens, Terminator. There's
definitely Terminator was better.
There's definitely ones that where they take the movie and make everything bigger or in a different direction.
I think Empire Strikes Back is better than A New Hope.
And I will say the third Indiana Jones, not the second one, but the third one was really
I didn't mind
good.
The second one.
So
you like Short Round? You're a big Short Round
fan? Short Round's all right.
Dr. Jones!
But honestly, I thought the third one with Sean Connery as the dad was my favorite one.
Yeah, no, that was definitely
out of the three. The four doesn't count.
See, I like four the bet. No, I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing too is like when you have a movie that's such a misfire like this one. If you didn't know that John Boyega was a good actor, you'd be like, God, he's awful. And like
if this is your first exposure to him, you'd be like,
if you hadn't seen Detroit or if you hadn't seen any of the Star Wars movies, you'd be like, God, where did they find him? He's terrible.
And that good-looking haircut that's his nemesis or whatever. Wow.
Isn't that Clint Eastwood's son?
Sure.
Isn't that Scott Eastwood or somebody?
CW kid?
Yeah.
No. But to be fair now.
Well, when did they make this? Before this? How long ago was this made? That's the other question.
Probably 2 years ago is my guess.
Well, yeah, that's got to be a year in post for a movie like this.
No, okay.
But here's the thing, though. Because I was trying.
Was it Scott Eastwood, Aaron?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's it is. I'll tell you. It was Scott Eastwood.
Yeah.
Who plays Nate Lambert. But to be fair now, because this is the thing sometimes people do with sequels of a movie that was just a fun popcorn movie. Let's not idolize the first one. Because remember, we had Will Anderson on the show when this first one came out.
Yeah.
And they had American actors doing, all right, mate. They were doing these awful Australian accents. And Will was like, come on.
But what's amazing is a movie like this,
not
not being good, it actually makes the first one better. It actually makes the first one look better.
Just because it had bad...
Just because the second one was bad. Like, actually, it's in a weird way, it elevates the first one.
Right?
Yeah, the first one had some decent cameos, and it did some fun things. The first one, it just started right in the middle of the action, and that was cool.
It ramped up quick.
It ramped up quick. I mean, this one ramped up quick too, but look, I saw it at a food theater, so I'm in a recliner. I've got food.
Right.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
There was a lot. This one took a while to get going too. Like, and it also, like, compared to the first one, and we'll get more into the spoiler, but like some of the biggest scenes were like, oh well, this is in the trailer. Like when I saw the trailer, I thought, okay, this big scene with the giant kaiju and all the Jaegers getting ready to fight. I'm like, oh, this is probably like in the middle of the movie. Then it's going to get even crazier after that. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
That was the finale of the
you
film.
can't start off big and then go, no, that's enough. I don't think that's...
Yeah.
But there's another factor here in terms of the box office of this film that we should talk about, which is Black Panther has just become the highest grossing Marvel movie ever.
Even over Avengers.
Over Avengers. It just passed it. And that is part of this, because if you're sitting there going, I haven't seen Black Panther yet, or this sequel that doesn't look that great. I mean, I think this, it shows you the strength of Black Panther, that it's still, what are we, 6 weeks into its release?
I think people are seeing it multiple times.
They're seeing it multiple. You're seeing multiple viewings, and then
when I went to see it, and then people were like, "Oh, stay to the end." Like half the theater was like, "Oh, you wait." I was walking out, like, "No, watch." I didn't get the reference because I don't see all of them.
Right.
But and then people, it was at least, numerous people in the theater. It was their second time seeing it. So.
But that's the thing too. So Avi's a great example. You're not a diehard Marvel guy.
Right. I see the good ones. If I hear this is a good one. Or it's gotten great reviews, I'm like, all right, that one I'll go see, but I'm not going to go see all of them.
Right.
So a month later, a guy like Avi, who's not a diehard Marvel fan, is going, do I see this Pacific Rim I don't know anything about, whatever, or the Marvel movie everyone is telling me is great?
Right.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm clearly influenced by what people are going to say. I mean, and if it's a good movie.
And Avi has a ritual on Tuesdays where he goes to the movies and brings in his lunch.
Yes.
So
I sneak in my lunch every Tuesday.
And he also went up to you on what you brought in. So you brought in sushi that one time. Avi, what did you bring in?
I bring in 2 trays of sushi, salmon avocado sushi every time, jalapeno chips, bottle of water, and my frozen yogurt with Reese's peanut butter cups. And the key is the bag that you have to smuggle it in with, because I use like
you went shopping for clothes.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like, oh, this is a Gap bag, or because I'll split time between the AMC or the Landmark, and neither of them really care, because who goes to a movie at 1 in the afternoon on a Tuesday? But I always, you just hold the bag, and I think mine is that I picked up at the airport. It's like whatchamacallit, a duty free bag. So it just looks,
it looks like you just were shopping.
Yeah, I was shopping. And so what idiot would put food in a duty-free bag?
A grown man is not going to sneak in a full lunch with
that's
frozen
absurd.
yogurt.
What kind of child would resort to that? And so
I'll tell you what kind. A road comic.
Yeah, that's right. That's who does it. And that's my little thing. And I said, when you guys call me at like Tuesday when I'm like, this is the only thing that will replace this, would be doing comedy film. And I was like, of course it would be appropriate that it would be during that. Yeah.
And the frozen yogurt keeps the sushi fresh.
Yeah,
so
that's like a chill
it's all thought out. And I remember I went down, and the Yogurtland is being remodeled at Century City, and I had like almost a panic attack. I'm like, what is going on? And I had to like, what do you mean it's being remodeled? I had like, thank God there was an ice cream place around that I smuggled something in. So, but
it's so funny. I want to tell you. So I smuggled my food in on
as you should, people. That's my PSA.
Because they had the recliner seats, but the ArcLight. No, the ArcLight doesn't have recliner seats where I saw Pacific Rim. So I'm mistaken. I saw something else. I got mixed up. I went to the ArcLight. Their food selection blows. And I'm a vegetarian, so if my choices are I can't eat the hot dog, so my dinner's going to be a fucking pretzel. No. Mm-hmm. So I'm smuggling in grape leaves, stuffed grape leaves, and a salad and protein chips and water that I brought from home. So and I had this thought. This is how brilliant Avi Lieberman is. I've been smuggling food in for years, and usually I jam it in my jacket or I have a bag or something. And I thought to myself, God, you know what I should have is some type of Gap or like I just went shopping bag. They will never question that because I'm looking at people. It's in a mall.
Yeah.
And people have those.
Right.
And I'm like, no one would ever question that. Avi's been ahead of this game for years.
When it comes to weaseling, my friend actually used one of my bags, a friend of mine crashing my place, and used that bag. I go, what are you doing? It's like, I was like, no, those are valuable. Like, I need that bag. You can't use that one. I just ask me I'll show you what bag to use. But not,
to my defense, the theaters that have opened up that have full menu service, they have a full menu, so I can get healthy stuff. I'll gladly sit there and have somebody bring it in. My argument is, if you're not going to sell, if they sold healthy food, I would buy it.
Yeah, and what is it? I think a popcorn and a Coke has more fat than a Big Mac and fries or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
because of the
oil,
butter they put on.
Yeah, the oil and the butter. Yeah, so, but I don't want to eat a bunch of that crap. And
if you had sushi and the salad and healthy stuff, I'd buy it. I wouldn't smuggle it in.
And it's LA too. You'd think it'd be the first place that would start having that.
Wouldn't the ArcLight be the first
I
place?
can't really make the health argument based on my jalapeno chips and frozen yogurt with Reese's peanut butter cups, but it's just because I want that and they don't have it. So that's I can't get away with that excuse.
So we'll get more into it in the spoiler, but Pacific Rim Uprising, again, partially my fault for going in with such high expectations and excitement, and but not a good film. It really felt like a direct-to-DVD sequel that just lacked all of the fun. Not all of it. 80% of the fun of the first one.